And the where's that? Oh,
What were you saying, Adam?
Adam, we're live. Seriously, don't ruin this.
Oh,
for us.
Adam,
my
don't
God.
get us canceled.
oh my God. Where's that link at, guys?
I'll send it to you on Twitter, Addy.
The sheep?
Yeah, the sheet.
Addy wants to be a
Okay.
freak in the sheets.
Oh, this is weird. I see ourselves
I know.
on a
It's very
slight
strange.
delay.
I don't like it. All right, Addy. I just sent you the link to the sheets.
Thank you, dog.
You're welcome, dog. Speaking of dog, is our varmint going to be quiet back there, Addy?
I had to get him out. He snores.
He does
way
snore.
too loud. He's got sleep apnea. Need to get him one of those breathe machines.
Can you imagine like a little sleep apnea machine for a dog?
That's the future. That's coming.
Any of the ones with like the kind of scrunched up faces, those are the ones that, like, I had a pug and he used to do the same thing, just snoring, and like even when he was awake he was snoring.
Oh yeah, it's
Yeah.
so loud, dude. It's so loud. It's crazy. Like if someone did break in, they would think that there was a 400-pound person here.
They would think that somebody has a chainsaw going.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Sawing logs.
Oh, yeah.
I see Z-Max
right.
here.
Z-Mags is here?
Hey Z.
Z-Mags, what's up?
Macri. He's gonna be on the show too.
That's right. I'm excited. That's breakouts, right?
Yep.
Good stuff, man. Yeah, we got some people coming in. So, John, whenever you want to kick us off, man, go for it.
All right, let me pull up my stuff.
We got Adam of Pacifico.
Got me some limes too. Special night.
With a
Special
lime and a
night.
coconut.
All right. Here we go. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the series premiere, the very first episode of the Big Nickel IDP Podcast on the Big Three Network. I'm your host, John Macri, PFF's IDP specialist and data analyst, and longtime IDP veteran. Thank you to those who are kind enough to tune in, and hopefully you continue to, because we are planning to do this podcast as a bi-weekly release. That's every other week throughout the off season, as we cover all the major news and topics related to Dynasty IDP. I will have the pleasure of being joined by, and in turn learning from, the best of the best in the IDP world throughout this off season to discuss all of the key fantasy football dynasty topics, from buy, sell, hold targets, free agency, incoming rookies, breakout candidates, so much more. So now that I've kind of done my hostly duties of setting the stage, we can get this party started. And naturally, before we look ahead to the rookies of 2021, which is coming soon to a podcast near you, I thought it might be kind of a fun exercise to look back at the 2020 season and redraft the top rookies on both sides of the ball, to see how their value has potentially changed from last season's rookie draft ADP. So who better to help me kick things off on the very first episode than the men without whom this podcast would not be possible, the Big Three from the Big Three IDP podcast themselves. We got the man, we got the myth, and we got the legend. I'll let them decide who is who. Mr. Josh Raymer, Mr. Adam Marcum, and Mr. Connor Raymer. Gentlemen, thank you for helping me launch this bad boy. How are y'all doing?
Not too bad, John. I think we know Adam's the legend.
He's the legend.
It's he's the card king. It's the monster. It's the yelling. So we know, and Connor, you can be the myth, and I'll just be the man. I'm fine with that. I'm secure in my manhood. But John, you have all these great guests line up. Like, we've seen the sheet. and yet you're kicking things off with us three dorks. So thank you. Thank you for helping us raise our credibility out in these IDP streets, man. We're excited to be here.
Hey, no, of course. I mean, why would I not kick it off with you guys? I mean, you gave me my first podcast start. My first guest appearance on a podcast was on your show. So, and then obviously it's on your network. So, hey, it just makes sense, right?
Johnny Mac, it's a pleasure. And I love setting the bar low in terms of guests, because then you just to the moon, baby. So we'll mix it up tonight, and we know you'll crush it, but every guest I know from here on out after us is going to get better and better. So we appreciate it. We're excited to be here.
No problem.
Forever in debt. Oh, Johnny boy.
I ran Johnny Mac by him. I was like, do you like Johnny Mac? He's like, yeah, it plays a little bit. We've got some others in the pipe.
It's good potential for sure.
Yeah. And as we know, Adam pulled John unwittingly into the bushes and into the deep underweb, the dark underbelly of the card mania that's going on right now.
Yep.
I remember that conversation like it was yesterday, and I was like, oh, John, oh no, precious John, walk away. And Adam was like, no, come on over to this van. It's filled with candy and cards. You're really going to love it. And now you guys are both hooked. And it's, I'm excited for y'all.
Yeah, it was the easiest sell of my life. I think it was like, hey, John, have you ever collected cards? Look at these I just got. And then I think John immediately bought like 3 or 4.
Yeah,
he did.
Yeah, that's basically how it was. I was like, oh, those look pretty. And then I was attracted to shiny things. So I naturally went over to eBay and saw what I could get and ended up with a few myself. Although nothing's really arrived yet. I just got a few, but that's the shame of the Canada Post and not anybody else's fault, really.
But how many do you have now?
So I got 4 that have arrived. I got like another dozen or so coming.
Dude, it's an addiction, isn't it?
Yeah, it kind of is. I like to look, just see what's out there. Some of them are expensive, like crazy prices, over $1,000 for some of them. It's nuts.
Wow,
yeah, it's absurd.
John's only bought like 8 of those. So this is actually his parents' house, if you guys are wondering. The Card King made John Macri homeless because of his new card addiction. But
exactly, yeah.
Still got a room to do the podcast in, and that's all you need, John.
Yep, that's all we need. As hopefully my wife doesn't listen and find out that I spend thousands of dollars on cards, but we'll deal with that bridge when we get to it.
We know our wives don't listen, so you have nothing to worry about.
I flat out asked Becca, I was like, do you listen? Because when I first started doing it, she was like, oh, I listen. You guys did so great. And she no, I don't listen. So we've lost a listener, I guess.
Not even a pity listen? Not even like a pity, like I'll throw it on just to listen for like 3 minutes and turn it off?
She shot it down pretty quick, so I'm just going to say no, she doesn't.
Not even like a what is he up to listen.
Yeah.
No. She's just totally checked out on that end. She's just like, let him have his time talking F-ball. So that's what we're here to do.
That's how I imagine it'll be for me too. She'll be like, oh, I want to listen. Yeah, it's going to sound so good. And like an episode later, she'll be like, okay, I get it. You guys chat about football. That's great.
It's taking the wife golfing. It's like, it's a good idea in theory. Like, hey, check out this podcast. We'll have a great, and I'm on it. Come out here and watch me hit.
You talk to me all day. You say I don't talk to you enough. And yet here we are. My voice is on this show and you don't love it. So I'm hurt.
Yeah.
I always tell people, if they don't want to hear the football talk, just listen to the first 5 minutes and the last 5 minutes. There's usually like fireworks somewhere in between.
Yep. Makes sense.
And then skip ahead about 10 minutes, and you'll probably hit like 2 or 3 yells from Adam as you go along. So it works out. You just hit the beginning and end and a couple yells in the middle, and that's the Big 3 IDP podcast. So, John, we're excited to redraft some rookies tonight, man. Excited to get into this.
Absolutely. So kind of like the purpose of kind of redrafting, right? Like everybody, wants to kind of look ahead to the 2021 season, obviously, especially with, new rookies coming out and to kind of dive in on that. But we'll get there. We'll definitely be looking at that before the draft. But I thought it's kind of a good exercise to kind of get, now that we have a year's worth of data on these guys, these 2020 rookies, to kind of get a better feel of them now and see how much, their outlook has kind of changed from last season. before the season and then how it's changed in season. So, and then mostly because this is obviously an IDP podcast, to get an idea of where these rookie IDPs like a Chase Young, Jeremy Chin, Patrick Queen, where they kind of land among all the offensive talent from this past year's class. So I use the MFL ADP from rookie draft. So that's, once I share the screen, people will see kind of last year's, people that are on YouTube anyways, will see last year's consensus ADP. And that's just pulled from MFL, myfantasyleague.com, for 12-team PPR leagues with full IDPs, if anybody wants to go through all of those filters. And then, yeah, so we'll share that screen and then we'll get into it. But yeah, you guys want to get started?
Let's do it, man. I'm excited. Addie's already told us he's taking Laviska Shenault at 101. So I'm just trying to figure out who else I can take from him.
Right.
I need to see, Adam, send us your card spreadsheet so we can see who else we need to steal from you.
DeAndre Swift.
DeAndre Swift. Okay, good to know.
Yeah.
He will not make it back to you. I can promise you that.
Yeah, that's a big one. And yeah, so, and Adam just did his dynasty rankings too. So we know we could kind of get a better idea of where he might be going. But yeah, for the rest of us, a little bit more of a mystery. So without further ado, we'll get into it. And with the first overall pick in the redraft, it is going to be.
Look at this.
Mr.
Even got the draft. Even got the draft music, dude. This is amazing. So, all right, Addy, which way you going here, man? What are you thinking? Let us into that beautiful mind of yours.
Man, tough call here. Do you go JT or do you go JJ? I think I'm gonna have to go JT though.
Yeah, I mean that's the move. That's the move. There's the board. It's looking beautiful. That would have been my pick at 101. I don't know how you can't go. Connor, I'm sure you're in agreement there. JT's the 101.
Oh, yeah, for sure. He definitely would have been the route I would have went with everything. I mean, I'm mad. That was the way I was going to go, but I figured Marcum, he's been a big JT guy the entire time. He would go that way. So I'm sitting here scrambling knowing I have the second pick. So I've got a little bit of marble mouth trying to get myself together, but a lot of good options still on the board, obviously. But yeah, JT's a stud.
Dude, JT's finish, quite incredible. So week 13 on against Houston, he had 22 points. Against the Raiders, he had 30 points. Houston again, 19.5. Pittsburgh, he had 21, and then Jacksonville, he had 38. He also had a huge performance in the playoffs. I mean, he's next to Saquon Barkley as far as like athleticism. He's like a generational talent, and you know, actually is that. You know, people throw that around a lot, and it's not true, but he actually is that. So love JT. He's also, you know, I think a much better receiver than people thought he was going to be. For some reason, there was a narrative that he wasn't a good receiving back. I don't think that's true at all. So love JT.
Yeah, and he kind of had that slow start too, right? Like I don't think like if we were to do this mid-season, I don't think there's any way we would be going 101 with Taylor. So yeah, in that last stretch there, I think only Derrick Henry had more yards than him, I'm pretty sure. So he had like 741 yards in the back half of the season. I can't remember where it exactly was, but and then just one drop too. So he is a pretty good receiver, kind of underrated in that regard. So I like it. I like that as a first overall pick.
All right,
thank you.
Connie, you're on the clock with the 102.
This is tough. Like knowing what I know now that, you know, he was injured at the end of last year. Like if I didn't know that, I love what Edwards-Helaire did with Kansas City. I mean, he just was really dynamic when he got the ball. So that's a really tempting pick for me. I think I'm going to go DeAndre Swift though.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah.
Interesting choice.
Yeah.
Are you just excited for his ability to bite some kneecaps off here?
I just think that we talked about this previously, that what he's going to do in terms of now that Stafford's gone, like not to say that Goff is going to come in and they just have no way of throwing the ball around. I just think if nothing else, watching that coach's interview, they're going to want to run the ball like probably 60 times a game if they can. I mean, I think he's just going to get more than his fair share of a workload. So I'll take my chances here with DeAndre Swift. I think he's going to get the lion's share and then some there. No pun intended.
Pun absolutely intended. Hush.
You could say as intended. I'm sorry.
And I think it makes sense, right? Like, I mean, if running backs usually go pretty early, I mean, there's maybe a wide receiver who I would be thinking about. That's probably where I'm going to go. But yeah, DeAndre Swift, I mean, he was another one that kind of started off slow too, right? And then he finished the season as a top 20 running back in PPR because of his receptions. And he was second in rookie receptions and first in receiving yards. So yeah, and the new running back coach for the Lions too has said that he wants him to be a 3-down back. So, I mean, we could take, what they say in the offseason for what we will, but I think he's in a pretty good spot to be a solid dynasty running back for sure.
Yeah, he's a special
Agreed.
talent. I'm super excited about his career.
Yeah.
I think that's Addy's current Avi in our XFFL Slack right now.
Oh, he's
Addy?
very drippy, very drippy.
Yeah.
And we know the rating for Adam, I feel like, is cards. How many cards does he have of you? And also, what's the drip? What's the drip on like a 1 to 10? Or is it 1 to 5 drips, isn't it, Addy?
You're right. Yeah, it's 5. It's 5.
How
up to 5.
is his visor?
Exactly. Yes.
Yes, it
How
is.
dark
It
is
is.
it?
It's 6
Darker.
drips.
It needs to be dark or reflective.
Yeah.
Yeah, or reflective and like the team color, like a cool red color. Was Kyler's red at one point? I feel like somebody had like a red tinted visor that looked sick.
Yeah, his is cool. I remember Odell once had the Joker. Remember that? He had like the Joker eyes and mouth in his visor.
He'd put the gloves up and have the mouth on the gloves.
Maybe that's what it was. But he had the eyes in the visor or something.
Oh yeah, it was sick.
Can you wear that in a game? I feel like that would be okay. It was just warm ups.
It's like
right?
a warm up thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense.
It's like they wear crazy cleats in the warm ups and shit too.
Yeah, I've always wondered, like, why aren't they wearing those cleats in the game? But yeah, they're just for warm ups.
Let them wear them in the game.
That's what I said.
Why can they not?
Who cares? Yeah. I don't know. They sell them afterwards, so I think probably they don't want them. But you feel like they would get more money for them if they're game worn.
Yeah, no fun league.
Hey, so we gave John some good time to think about this 3rd overall pick here.
Yeah. And I don't have to think about it too much. I am going with Justin Jefferson.
Yep, no brainer.
Receiver for the Minnesota Vikings. He was the 3rd wide receiver taken according to MFL ADP. But he was crushing as a rookie. He came close to breaking Odell Beckham's rookie PFF grade for us. So close. It was a 91.2 for Odell Beckham in his rookie year and a 91.0 for Jefferson in his rookie year. So 1,400 receiving yards, 7 touchdowns. And then he just absolutely destroyed man coverage. Like, he looked like a legit number 1 wide receiver for the Vikings. He had a 93.6 grade against man coverage for PFF, which was behind only Devontae Adams. So obviously really good company there. So that's who I would be going with the 3rd overall pick. So first wide receiver from 109 to 103.
I mean, it's the number 7 overall player in Addy's mixed dynasty ranks. Got Diggs down there at 9. So it's crazy to think that as good of a season as Diggs had, you can make the case that Justin Jefferson, the rookie that was taken with the pick the Vikings got back, was even better than Diggs. So I think that's a brilliant pick there. I would not have had any qualms with Justin Jefferson at the 101 overall. Right. So to get him here at 3, I think it's a steal. You guys have left me in a weird spot. I feel really good about 104, but 105 is interesting because I'm not up to pick again until the 112. So I kind of have to think about how I want to play this here. But I think the choice is pretty obvious for both. I'm going to go with CeeDee Lamb at the 104. This was the guy I said was my 101 in rookie drafts before that 2020 draft. I think with Dak coming back, that you're going to see this Dallas offense return to levels that we saw in the first 4 games when Dak was healthy. And I think Dak will be back. I don't think he's going anywhere else. And you started to see the transition happen from these other wide receivers, Amari Cooper, Michael Gallup, to CeeDee Lamb ascending to the throne. It got a little lost in the shuffle because of Dak's injury, because of Justin Jefferson setting the world on fire. But I think when it's all said and done, CeeDee Lamb will be the one that's remembered as the best of this class. So I'm going with CeeDee Lamb at the 104 and at the 105. This is very tough. There's 3 interesting running backs on the board, but I'm going with the man from Los Angeles, Cam Akers, at the 105. So put it on the board, John. I feel good about these 2 picks here. I have no idea who's going to make it back to me at 112, but feel good going with a top 3 running back and a top 2 wide receiver there.
Yeah, I like it. I mean, yeah, Lamb, and it was the Dak factor, right? Like without Dak, he kind of faded into the background. CeeDee Lamb, and he was a top 12 wide receiver in PPR before Dak went down. So he still ended up with nearly 1,000 yards, even with, a combination of like Ben DiNucci and Andy Dalton, right? So you got to be happy with CeeDee Lamb. And yeah, Cam Akers, another guy. Like a lot of these guys came on late, right? So Akers didn't really get a role until later in the season. And it was the case with most rookies. Even some of the IDPs didn't get going until later in the season. And I think that has a lot to do with, there's no training camp and all the COVID stuff that was going on. It was just naturally going to happen that way. And Akers, yeah, absolutely looked like a stud running back that he was at FSU when he was drafted. So, yeah, those are some pretty solid picks, which I guess puts me back on the board here.
Back on the clock.
Yeah.
And I am so curious to see which way you go here because there's a lot of interesting wide receivers. 3 here that we can see on the board, all disappointed, and Jerry Jeudy, Jalen Reagor, and Henry Ruggs. J.K. Dobbins, you mentioned kind of not really getting to show what he could do because you had Mark Ingram in the mix, and then Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Connor talked about it, and, first running back taken off the board. Addy mentioned it on the last pod. He's buying Clyde Edwards-Helaire right now because this Chiefs offense needs what he brings to the team. So, Johnny Mac, I'm curious to see where you're going here, man, because I'm not sure I know where I'd be going if I were in your shoes.
Yeah, so I think I went wide receiver, Justin Jefferson. I'm going to go running back, and I'm going to go J.K. Dobbins. And the reason for that, as good as I think Clyde Edwards-Helaire can be, I kind of come back to maybe the priors a little bit, before last season's draft, before Kansas City made Edwards-Helaire the first running back taken. I mean, I saw a lot of rankings that had J.K. Dobbins and made Edwards-Helaire kind of a surprise pick at that point. So Dobbins was ranked ahead. I liked what he did at Ohio State, and honestly, he had some good numbers too. He had 6 yards per carry, which was tied for first in the NFL among running backs who played a minimum of 25 snaps. And I think the Baltimore system is just running back friendly, right? You got Lamar there. A lot of teams are going to be just kind of zoned in on him. So it opens up a little bit more room for a running back to make plays. And I think J.K. Dobbins kind of showed that. He was even a top 10 running back in yards after contact. He was averaging 3.5 yards after contact in the season, so which was a top 10 mark for running backs as well. So I like Dobbins there. That's where I would go.
Addy, what do you think about that one? Because that would be my choice as well, but I know you may be a little higher on CEH.
No, actually, I think I like Dobbins better there. I think I have CEH ranked lower. Yeah, I mean, JK and Cam Akers are neck and neck for me. I mean, I love the way Dobbins finished the year. He didn't get more than 15 carries, so you got to figure that's not going to be a thing next year. I'd imagine a lot of 20 to 25 touch games for him. But yeah, everything John said, that's exactly kind of how I feel. Good time to get JK right now.
Nice pick. Connor's back
and
on the board.
And he's being slept on too. You know, he is being slept on. Like all the talk is JT, DeAndre, and Cam right now. I mean, getting JK at 106, that's nice value.
And
we're letting you look good. We're letting you look good for your podcast.
Yeah, John.
You think it's a trash pick deep down, Johnny Mack, and you.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes in like the late second round and stuff.
After y'all just dumped all over my pick here, I'm getting ready to go with. I'm going with my boy Clyde Edwards-Helaire. I talked myself off of it earlier, so I think I've got a little more depth here at the receiver position to kind of put some stuff together here in the later rounds. But I like locking him and Swifty up for my running back committee there. So obviously, I think Josh, you hit the nail on the head. He has what ails Kansas City, and I think his presence was sorely missed in the playoffs. It could have taken a lot of stress off Mahomes if he would have been healthy. He's a great check down option. And I saw that stat about Mahomes and what he had, how many yards he ran. I say ran in quotes in the Super Bowl. What was it, like 450 some odd yards?
Yeah, it was insane. Yeah, it was an insane. It was like more offense than I feel like the Chiefs actually had.
Yeah, exactly. So when you have guys like, okay, Tyreek is shut down and our big tight end across the middle is taken away, it's like, okay, what are we going to do here? We have no Kelsey, no Tyreek, a guy like Edwards-Helaire. Again, it makes shorter fields a lot easier because he's such a great safety valve. I think he's going to round out a nice little running back committee here for me with him and Swift.
Yeah, I agree. I do like CEH. I mean, people are definitely down on him because of kind of, where he was drafted and whatnot. But yeah, I mean, they need him, for that offense going forward, just because Kelsey's getting older. I mean, Tyreek could lose a step. But, I think the Super Bowl really exposed them. They're not that special of an offense if you can take away Tyreek. So they've got a lot of work to do because, I think people just kind of thought Mahomes was going to coast the next 15 years, but Trevor Lawrence coming in, some of these other guys are still pretty good too. So it was a great experience for Mahomes, I think, to get humbled a little bit.
He just wanted Mahomes' wife to get humbled. That's what it really comes down to.
She's the worst. It was mainly about her. Yes, definitely true. But that she rubs off on Patrick. So
yeah. Adam, she's pregnant. We know our wives got a little crazy when they were pregnant. It happens, okay? So cut her some slack. Have some grace.
Hey, she was same before she was pregnant, all right?
Same. She hadn't changed. All right, Addy, you're back on the clock here, and I have to. I'm really starting to wonder when your baby's going to be in range here. I think it's still a little too early, but I know you're thinking about him. You're always thinking about him.
All right, hey John, will you scroll down a little bit on the left for me?
Yes, sir.
I don't think that we're out of range, Josh, at all.
Don't you dare! Don't you dare go with the Drip Lord at 108.
108 is going to be T. Higgins.
Oh, good pick. Good pick.
And 109. It's a toss up for me between Jerry Jeudy and Laviska Shenault, but it's going to be Laviska Shenault.
Wow,
man, there it is, folks. But hey, what was it you said? Show me another ranker out there who has Laviska Shenault inside their top 26.
Yeah, bring them to me.
Bring them to me so I can kill them.
Bring them to me on a plate.
Yeah,
that's my guy, man. He's about to get Trevor Lawrence. He's about to ascend, I think, like no other rookie. So. I'm not going to be surprised if in a year we're talking about him as like a top 20 asset.
Yeah, that's kind of the thing with him, right? Like getting Trevor Lawrence is obviously huge. It's a big upgrade, right? And he's more of like a yards after catch kind of guy. Doesn't really have like a high average depth of target. He does a lot more with the ball in his hands. So, I mean, Trevor Lawrence can make every throw, so it doesn't really matter for him. He's gonna succeed in that offense pretty much no matter what. It seems like they have DJ Chark, who's fine, I guess. He's under contract, I think, for another year. He's not a bad receiver, but after that, I mean, yeah, Laviska Shenault is going to be good. So he had the most contested catches as well among rookie wide receivers with 13. So he's good in traffic as well. So that was a little thing that I didn't even really realize that about him. I always picture him as kind of like catching it underneath, but if he has to go up and make a play on the ball, he can do that too.
And he didn't have good quarterback play, so now that he's going to have a guy that can actually, put some touch on the ball, let him go up and make a play, because he can do that. And I think we're going to see a lot more of that going forward.
For sure.
And how many Visca cards you up to, Addy?
Oh, we're at like 7. We got 3 autos. I got 2 in today. We're living large.
Wow.
You would think Adam comes home for lunch. No. It's just to check the mail, see what cards have come, crack open the envelopes, and just bask in the glory of those green Zephyrs and orange Zypons.
I imagine to Target a pool in his living room like Scrooge McDuck, and they're all just filled with cards.
And he just dives into it and swims around and kisses every Visca he sees.
Yeah.
That's right.
He's getting us another sweatshirt and going to Target and changing sweatshirts and masks and saying, "Hello, sir.
Yeah,
I'd like to buy all your cards."
My back seat is just full of clothes.
They're going to think you're a serial killer. They're going to pull you over. There's going to be different outfits. There's going to be boxes in the trunk filled with questionable items like cards.
Target bags everywhere.
A lot of Target bags. This is how it's going to end for Addy, just so you know, John.
It makes sense.
Hey, John, looking into the future right there, dude. I'm telling you, you're gonna be next.
You're gonna be next.
Hey,
you're gonna be the one at Target changing outfits.
Oh man. But and then the T. Higgins pick too. I obviously had T. Higgins ahead of Visca as well, but not ahead of maybe a couple other wide receivers. So Addy, obviously it's very high on Shenault. So I like that. But T. Higgins with Joe Burrow, I mean, the guy had like 900 receiving yards and 6 touchdowns before Joe Burrow went down. Or was that 900 total on the year? But still was doing a lot with Joe Burrow even after Joe Burrow left. So he's another guy that looks like a really good wide receiver to have. He was my wide receiver 4. So there is one other wide receiver I'd take ahead of him, but it's not my turn to pick yet. So I'll see if Connor ends up stealing.
I think I know where Connor's going here. I'm gonna
Where do you think I'm going?
I feel very confident in this that you're going with Michael Pittman.
I'm definitely picking Michael Pittman. Hell yeah.
Yes.
Wow.
Oh, I know his heart. And that's a good pick. That's honestly the guy I was looking at for either 112 or 201, because I think we're hopefully in for if not a quarterback upgrade next year, because Rivers was like a solid like B+, B- to B+ kind of fluctuated this past year. Like he was solid. But even if it's not next year where we see a big tick up in terms of quarterback play, because it's looking like either Wentz or Sam Darnold at this point for the Colts, I think the long-term outlook for Pittman is really bright, because I don't think T.Y. is back necessarily. And even if he is, it's not a long-term thing. So, yeah, in that Frank Reich offense, Michael Pittman, Paris Campbell, I think that's a really nice 1-2 punch, a very complimentary pair of wide receivers. Connie, I applaud it, and I called it. So it's good all the way around.
No, you hit the nail on the head, man. That's what drew me to him. He's, in my opinion, like you said, I think they're at least going to have to figure out, can he be the wide receiver 1 there next year, and not the year after, but next year. And even if T.Y. is back, he's not the number 1. I think even if they go a little more tight end heavy, and let's say they do bring in Wentz or, somebody, one of his old tight ends, or even somebody like Hunter Henry, I've heard him mentioned as well. So I just think receiver wise, he's going to have to be the go-to option. I think he was like JT, and Johnny Mack hit this earlier, that as the year went on. There wasn't a rookie wall issue, I don't think, with either one of them. It was very impressive to see how well they played through that. I want to say PFF said the Colts had like maybe the second best rookie class overall, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know if that was just defense, just offense, just in terms of how much they played and how they graded out for the year. But I'd have to go back and check that exactly. But I feel like he was one of those guys that was a major contributing factor to offense that had a little bit of a late season push there. So I feel good about it, man. I think he'll do good things in 2021, and hopefully Paris being back and a few other pieces, better quarterback, helps as well.
Yeah. Johnny Mac, what did PFF have to say about Michael Pittman?
It's a good question. I'd have to look it up. But no, I'm pretty sure he was, he didn't get a ton of playing time early on. He was, I'll tell you right now, so 62.8 overall grade. So it wasn't bad. That's kind of what you'd expect.
That's about average, right, in terms of PFF grade?
Yep. And the same thing, his receiving grade, 62.3. So it's right around there. 13.2 yards per reception, 331 yards after the catch out of his 593 yards. Just the one touchdown on the year, but obviously he's still a rookie and has that upside as well. I'll be interested to see if Paris Campbell gets healthy, kind of what that offense looks like. I know Paris Campbell's another one of those guys, short yardage route kind of player, but he's got speed, man. And I bet if they could get him deep, it could be a pretty good wide receiver core.
Yeah, I'm excited. I think this could look entirely different as an offense if you have a quarterback that can push the ball down the field. If you have a speedster like Paris Campbell back in there, if you remove, the TY element and kind of open up more of these targets for these young playmakers, you get JT, with that late season surge coming back in a year or two, knowing the offense, full off season, not the COVID shortened one. That offense could be even better than it was this year. And I think it was serviceable. I think it was really solid. But I think we could be looking at potentially a top 10 type of offense, depending on the quarterback that we get in place. That's going to be the big question mark there.
Right.
So, John, I'm so fascinated to see where you go here. I think you're going wide receiver.
Oh, yeah.
And I have a feeling it may be Jerry Jeudy.
Big booty.
Definitely Jerry Jeudy. Definitely.
Big booty Jeudy.
Big booty Jeudy. This is a big fall. And I got to wonder, maybe it's the drops. I know he had 12 drops on the year, which obviously not good. He had 5 of them in that one game. But, man, his quarterback play too, drops are on the receiver. But if they can get a good quarterback in Denver, which I don't think Drew Lock is the long-term option there, I don't think – maybe Justin Jefferson, but there's not many wide receivers in this class that can separate like Jerry Jeudy does. The guy just gets open, right? His route running is incredible to watch. He will break ankles. He makes plays. He had 26 explosive plays on the year. So those are 15 plus yards, which was 13th among all wide receivers, even with that quarterback situation, and it was second among all rookie wide receivers. So the drops, whatever, I think those kind of level out as his career goes on, because getting open is the most important thing you could do for a wide receiver. So I like Jerry Jeudy's long-term outlook for sure.
Yeah, and here's the thing. I think Jeudy may be one of the biggest buy low candidates right now.
Yeah.
Because I'm not worried about the Broncos sticking with Drew Lock, because they know that Lock is not the answer. Elway has moved up to this executive VP role. They've got George Patton, the new GM, in the building. I really think they're going to upgrade this quarterback position sooner rather than later.
Yeah.
So don't worry about, even if Drew Lock is the starter for this year, which I'd say is probably a 50-50 proposition at this point.
Right.
Don't worry about it, because he's not going to be the quarterback the year after that. In fact, I think if he starts this season, he's probably not even going to finish it out as the Broncos quarterback. He's not the answer. So don't judge him with that. I mean, look at what this guy can do. And the route running, the route running is so encouraging because that sticks with you as you age. You may lose some of your speed and some of your quickness and some of your burst, but if you can run routes with the level of precision and have that kind of footwork that Judy does, man, I feel like your window for fantasy relevance is much, much wider than some of these other wide receivers.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the key, right? Like for any wide receiver, if you can get open, you're going to get targets, and eventually, you may drop a few, but being open in the NFL is not an easy thing to do. And to see Jerry Jeudy, like, you just watch his highlight reel, you see that guy get open regularly. That's the biggest positive sign for me. And I had him as wide receiver 3 for this class, so just behind CeeDee Lamb and Justin Jefferson, obviously.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
All right. 112. I've got to smack some of these MFL drafters, man. This list of ADP data is just ridiculous. This is the easiest pick in the world, and I cannot believe where this guy is sitting on this list behind running backs like Keyshawn Vaughn, A.J. Dillon, and Zach Moss. Give me Antonio Gibson all day at the 112, please and thank you. Yeah. I love Gibby. I was high on I tried for months. You can ask Bobby. I was in his damn DMs every day trying to get Gibby from him. Never could make it work. Happy to get him here. Man, you're talking about CeeDee Lamb, Cam Akers, and Antonio Gibson. Yum, yum, yum. Give me all of that, Adam.
Yeah, I don't like it.
I don't care. I don't care what you like. You're jealous. You're speaking out of jealousy right now, and you're just going to have to deal with it.
I just had to come away with Visca. I may have messed myself up, but I needed to make sure I had Visca.
I made a promise to him. I was talking to the cards, and you had to be a man of your word. So, John, hit me with that music, man. I need that music for the start of round 2 here.
Yes, sir.
Because I'm going to do something here that may be a little bit unexpected. To start the second round, 201. There's some good offensive pieces left. Don't get me wrong. We've got Denzel Mims is still on the board. I think Jalen Reagor is a big buy low candidate right now because I think it's going to be Jalen Hurts there at quarterback. You've also got Henry Ruggs, who the Raiders quarterback situation is in flux, so they could be upgrading at the QB position. So there's a lot of solid offense left on the board. Brandon Ayuk is another good example. A.J. Dillon's a nice candidate there, especially if Aaron Jones hits the market. But this one's easy for me. I'm going with the 101 right now at the defensive end position. I'm going Chase Young at the 201, Johnny. Put it on the board.
I like it. He stole my pick. But yeah, absolutely. I think Chase Young is the pick there. Just rare talent at the defensive end position. You've got the main offensive guys off the board. I think you got to go Chase Young.
Agreed. I mean, that's what Addie and I were talking about, John, and I'm curious where you come down on this in terms of trading Devin White. Like I would move him for several first-round picks, but the offensive equivalent of a Devin White is typically like the 15th overall best wide receiver. Like, that's fine, but I think I'd rather have the 101 at his defensive position.
Right.
And so Chase Young, to me, is very worthy to be selected this high. I think he actually went even a little higher in our RSO rookie draft. I think he went at like 109, if I'm remembering correctly, Addy. Does that sound right? Sam took him in the first round, I'm pretty sure, didn't he?
Yes, that's true.
So 109. So he actually slid a little bit here, despite being the defensive rookie of the year and absolutely balling out the back half of the season.
Yeah, for sure. And I saw most of the rookie drafts that I was in last year, he was going in the first round. I think it was, 108, 109 was kind of the sweet spot for Chase Young. Sometimes he'd go earlier as well. But, yeah, he's more than lived up to the hype coming out of Ohio State. He was our highest graded rookie defender with an 87.2 grade. a lot of it came in the back half of the season, or after Thanksgiving at least, or Thanksgiving on. From that week on, he had a 90.6 PFF grade, which was second behind only Khalil Mack, who was our highest defender on the year.
Wow.
He led all rookies in pressures and sacks. So, yeah, he's a beast, and he's going to be good for a long time.
Wow. So Khalil Mack was y'all's highest graded defensive player?
Yeah. Yeah, number one. He was. I'm pretty sure he was even number one in run defense too. But yeah, for pass rush and for overall defense, he was number one. So it's one of those things, right? Like, it doesn't always show up in the box score, and that's kind of why, like, people assume he's not getting the sacks or whatever. Maybe he's getting older, or he's not playing at that level anymore. But Khalil Mack has kind of shown the exact opposite of that this season, as winning at an elite level still, and he had 3 sacks called back too. People didn't realize that because of penalties committed by his team. So you throw those 3 sacks, or even 2 or 1 of them, it changes the narrative on him a little bit as well. But now I'm talking about Khalil Mack in a rookie draft. But yeah, anyway.
No, well, I think he's the ultimate better for the real life NFL defense than IDP, right? Like, he is the guy, at least for this past season.
Yeah, he's still really good. I mean, yeah, it's that positional designation thing too, right? I've seen him listed as a linebacker, and I think, yeah, the XFFL, we have him as a linebacker as well on RSO, right? So that obviously hurts his value in IDP a little bit, but put him at defensive end, and he's going to be one of the top guys taken for sure.
Beautiful. All right, so at the 202, John Macri goes Khalil Mack.
Yeah, exactly.
Edge rusher.
Khalil Mack.
That would be unfair. All right, Connie, give me your guess here. Where's Johnny Mack going here at the 202?
He kind of tipped a defensive hand, saying the offensive cupboard was, I guess, not like bare, but just a lot of the similar pieces left there. So I'm not going to say anything. I don't want to tip my hand any at all.
Ooh,
but he's going. I
okay.
think it's defensive.
Going
Chestnut
defensive.
checkers,
which is fair. But I think it might be a surprise, at least for a surprise for the position based off of one season. But I am going quarterback Joe Burrow of the Cincinnati Bengals.
Was that who you wanted, Connie?
Yes, it was. I was honestly kind of
man.
doing the reverse jinx. I was like, I want Burrow because I think he's going to be a stud once he gets his leg fixed.
Yeah, that's the thing with me too, right? Like, I get, like, Justin Herbert, he was offensive rookie of the year. He looked amazing, everything, but I just can't come off my priors based on the one season, especially that Burrow. It's not even that he looked bad, right? He still looked really good playing behind that awful offensive line. He unfortunately didn't get a chance to finish the season, but from the weeks that he played, weeks 1 to 11, I believe it was, when compared to Justin Herbert, he had more accurate to like on the frame of the wide receiver pass completions than Herbert over that time. And that's kind of the more stable thing that I look for quarterbacks anyways, is accuracy. And it's not to say that Justin Herbert wasn't accurate either. He was still really good, but I'm just kind of betting on Joe Burrow long term. PFF's talked about this as well, where Herbert succeeded a lot more under those kind of volatile metrics, which were the plays under pressure, whereas his grade from an actual clean pocket was like 24th among quarterbacks, while Burrow actually had the lowest incompletion percentage of quarterback faulted throws from a clean pocket at 4%. So those are the kind of things you kind of have to dive into a little bit more. For me, anyways, I know Justin Herbert had the highlight reel, but I'm still all in on Joe Burrow. I love Joe Burrow.
And you have to imagine they make it a priority to address that offensive line.
They have to. After seeing what happened to your franchise quarterback in year one like that, and it was bound to happen. He was getting killed every game, and the Cincinnati fans are already like they had signs in the stands for Penei Sewell, the offensive tackle from Oregon, asking for them to draft him in season. So they're well aware of the issue. I just hope they address it early and often in the draft.
Didn't they lose and didn't they lose their rookie early on? Their rookie offensive lineman, I think.
Last year, yeah. Last year they drafted the left tackle, whose name is escaping me.
Jonah something.
Jonah Williams, from Alabama. The left tackle. He got injured. He didn't play at all in his rookie season. This was really his rookie season, and the pieces around him were just not good. So Joe Burrow, I still have really high hopes for Joe Burrow, especially with guys like T. Higgins, Tyler Boyd as his weapons. So
yeah, Joe Burrow is going to be just fine. I'm not worried about Joey B at all. Yeah. Dude had major swag. I think we all saw it coming. It's like when you open up the movie and it's at the end and then you get the flashback. Like every Bengals fan had seen the end of the movie and it was Joe Burrow being carted off with his knee all messed up, and unfortunately that came to pass. So there's a reason you're seeing every mock draft under the sun with what is it, the Sewell kid as the pick for the Bengals. So I think that's where they're going, and I think that's a smart pick. You got to do it. You got to do it, or Zach Ryle's head is going to blow off of his shoulders. So do it for Zach, Bengals fans.
What pick is that?
That is 202.
No, the Bengals. What pick do they have?
They're picking at 5. So the only other one that I think Cincinnati's worried about is Miami at 3 might take Sewell, which obviously that makes sense too. But I'm seeing wide receiver mock there too, Jamar Chase or Devontae Smith at Miami. So it'll be interesting. I love the draft. I can't wait.
It's
that big lineman. Is he a tackle?
Yeah, left tackle.
Left tackle.
Yeah.
Here's my question: if Miami's eyeballing them and they are actually going to play Tua, do you prioritize a left tackle on a left-handed quarterback?
I know that's the thing, right? It's not his blind side, right? But I mean, so there's kind of this argument that there is no blind side for a quarterback because they throw both sides of the field, right? So when they're throwing right, their blind side is their left side. When they're throwing left, their blind side is their right side most of the time, right? So
yeah, they also have this thing called peripheral vision where they can see, what's going on over their left shoulder if they're a right-handed quarterback. So,
or through your helmet hole if you're Ryan Fitzmagic on the last heave of the year.
That's true. I think Addy was going to probably say that the Dolphins might be going a quarterback there at 3 to replace Tua.
Oh,
damn. Just making me throw shade at Tua?
No, I just wanted to throw some shade at Ben Ratty. So
I think Macri's a fan. Macri's got him on our RSO team.
My RSO roster.
He somehow ended up here. He was a throw-in a trade, probably.
Yeah. No, but I do like Tua. I mean, he didn't show a lot in his rookie year, but I'm still a fan of him. I think he can succeed. He's just got to get comfortable in the NFL. But he's still on the board. We'll see.
Connie?
See where
Connie. Yeah, Connor's going Jacob Eason here.
Come on, Connie.
The only quarterback on the roster for the Indianapolis Colts right now.
No, we're going Herbs.
All right, put it on the board, John. That's a nice pick. I like Herbs there. As we know from his Fortnite Twitch stream, Juju's going out there to play with Keenan Allen now. So Justin Herbert has to be excited. No, I think there's a really good argument to be made between Joe Burrow and Justin Herbert, especially if Joe Burrow had finished the year healthy on 2 legs.
Right.
I think the catastrophic knee injury is throwing things a little bit in doubt. Plus, Herbert lit the world on fire and won Offensive Rookie of the Year. So, but in terms of fantasy, that's a good debate. I don't know, John. It sounds like you still come down on the Burrow side.
I'm on Burrow side, yeah. I just feel like there's bound to be some regression for Herbert next year, right? Like, I think he'll still be good. It's not to say that he won't be good, but he was so good as a rookie. I wonder, from what we saw even at Oregon, right, where he wasn't that great, but he came in all of a sudden and played lights out as a rookie here. I think he might start to kind of level off a little bit more to to the mean, but I think he'll still be good. But I just like Joe Burrow a lot more. I'm going with Joe Burrow still.
That's right. Now we got tape on you, Herbert. We got tape on you now. You can't run.
Yeah.
This is
I like
Addie's
Burrow better
favorite
too.
narrative here that the NFL's got tape on Herbert and he's done.
Hey, it's a long off season for you, Justin. Going to be watching a lot of your tape, buddy.
And what's he going to do when the fans come in too? Maybe crumble under that pressure.
Right. He's a timid fella. He's not going to like all the attention.
No, he's not going to like that.
He's a timid fellow. What did you say, Connor, before we got on mic? You said lad, as in Canadian slang, that the lad's getting tossed around a lot.
Yeah, I hadn't quite like greased up the Trailer Park Boys Canadian accent that I usually is kind of like my go-to, like sorry, that like
stressed
that
out.
little bit of lingo.
Yeah. Hey, bud.
Yeah. Hey, bud.
Oh man. All right, Addy, you're back on the clock here. Visca is all yours, so you don't have to worry. I'm going to throw out a little prediction here that you're going to go Denzel Mims with one of these two picks.
You think you know me, huh?
I do know you.
You don't. You don't. All right, so we're going to go Brandon Ayuk.
And Denzel Mims.
And then we're going to go Chase Claypool.
Chase Claypool. Very interesting.
Yeah. So no more Juju. I mean, we saw what even though Chase Claypool was, he didn't have the best finish as far as likability. He's still a really good player, still a really good prospect. I mean, has a little bit of Mike Evans in him, I think. It's just gonna, he'll get better and better. But yeah, I mean, I like Claypool. No more Juju, so yeah, he's gonna get a lot more targets, I think. Brandon Ayuk, I mean, he was awesome last year. They need a quarterback upgrade, but yeah, I mean, I'm thrilled to have these guys. I've got JT and I've got 4 receivers around him.
Yeah, I like it. I like Claypool. I mean, I'm not obviously a fan of him as a person, as a Browns fan, but
Sure.
but he's Canadian too, so he has at least that going for him. And led all rookie wide receivers in touchdowns as well. And yeah, I like the idea that there's no Juju there, so it's him, it's Deontay Johnson, I guess James Washington as well. But yeah, he's in a good spot. We'll see what happens with Ben. I don't think he's still got it. Like, I think he's pretty much done, Roethlisberger. Even if he does play, I don't know how good he'll be. But yeah, Claypool's in a good spot either way.
Yeah, how does Claypool come out being such a punk, being Canadian here, John? We need to send this guy back to Canadians 101 here.
He's given us a bad name. He really is. He just came out as such a baby at the end of the season. Complaining and then talking trash about the Browns after they lost to the Browns. Come on, man.
Shut the hell up, Claypool.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, talk less.
Exactly.
All right, so Connie's back on the clock here, and I have no prediction on this one. I really don't know which way he's going to go.
I honestly don't have any prediction either. I've kind of went every direction here at this point. I've got 2 running backs. I've got a wide receiver. I've got a trigger man now. So I feel like I'm pretty well spread out here with what I have. So let me just take one more peek here at the board to see which way I want to take this.
Yeah, you got a nice little squad. Like if we were doing this out in the backyard, Connor's squad's looking pretty good right now.
Yeah, don't hate it. Don't hate it. This is getting tough. And I do this this is what happens, John, every time, especially we do our playoff fantasy draft.
Yeah.
It is like a hysterical. We had to do it virtual this year because of COVID. Josh, we did not have as many repeating people as I thought we would have.
Yeah, I was proud of us. We did a good job. John, usually it's like over under 22 players that get drafted twice in that playoff draft.
Yeah, it's bound to happen. We get that too. Even if we got the board right in front of people, it's still like, has this guy been taken? And there's still, it happens every time, every draft.
The panic though with Connor is it comes up with the most absurd choices. Like, what about Jonathan Taylor? It's like, Connor, we're at the 206. Like, what planet are you on currently?
I'm going Patrick Queen.
Ooh, okay. Nice pick.
Patrick Queen.
I like it.
Can you hit me with the sound effect, Josh? Do you know what it is on Roadie? Do we still have that?
Which one? Oh,
You
hold
know
on.
it's one.
I think it is. I can't hear it, so tell me if this is right.
Yes. That's the
Is
one.
that it? I was
House
going to say it's either that or it's that, but I think
No,
that.
don't do that. Disavow. Disavow
Disavow.
that last one. Yeah. Disavow
Hold-
that, Patrick.
Hold on. This is there you go. That's one of Addie's favorites right there. We love that. So that's Addie. What's your thoughts here on Patrick Queen at 206?
I love that pick. That's a great pick, Connor. Really good. I mean, I think it's between him or Isaiah Simmons. I think Isaiah Simmons has a higher upside if you're going linebacker. But yeah, Patrick Queen. Baltimore usually doesn't miss when we're targeting an inside linebacker, and that's what Patrick Queen is. He had a great rookie year. Yeah, I mean he's going to be a perennial LB2 at least, I think, for the next 5-6 years.
I just did that. I couldn't take Isaiah Simmons just because of Bobby. I had to kind of go in a different direction. So I know that's his boy. So I went Patrick Yas Queen. So
Don't take Bobby's son away from him. And Patrick.
I know.
Patrick
Yeah.
King. I mean, let's just make it happen. Or Patrick Prince in a throwback to famous UK basketball player Tayshaun Prince. Let's bring that back. Either way,
One of the goats had like a 10-foot wingspan.
he did.
Josh.
He was ridiculous.
Josh, do you remember that UK game me and you went to?
No, I don't. What happened at this UK game?
Well, remember someone wrote poop on the seat that I was sitting in like pen or something. But it was just a random little funny thought that I remembered that someone wrote poop on the seat.
Dude, I think I've blocked this from my memory, so something horrific must have happened at this game.
I remember also your uncle chewing out a guy in front of him that was being obnoxious.
Oh God, which one was this? Was this
It
Uncle
was
Steven or-
Steve. It was Uncle
Okay,
Steve.
yeah.
Yeah. He
That's not a
said something like,
surprise.
all these people in this arena, we get to sit in front of you.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Sorry, John, to hijack it with memories from UK basketball games,
That's
but
a good memory. I like it.
how did because I was a little surprised because Patrick King of Queens was getting destroyed by the PFF grade gods. How did he finish up the season?
Yeah, it was 29.9 overall grade, so not good. So that was like 27th among just the rookie linebackers. So it wasn't a good year as a whole for linebackers or rookie linebackers, but Patrick Queen was really got the worst of it. I mean, I still think I think he can still be a good linebacker in the NFL. I think, we kind of give these guys a little bit of leeway in their rookie year, especially this year. But I surprisingly maybe don't have him as my rookie LB1. So for me, and I'll make this my next pick, I am going Isaiah Simmons.
Oh, you monster!
Yeah, so this one will make me. I guess I'll make Bobby proud if he's listening. With Isaiah Simmons, his boy. So really, I'm kind of just betting on Devondre Campbell being a free agent. I'm assuming that's going to be the case. They drafted Simmons 8th overall, so they're probably going to want to get him a little bit more playing time next year. Kind of underutilized this year because of Devondre Campbell. I think so. Weeks 1 to 7, he was 96th among linebackers in snaps, and then weeks 9 to 16, just 55th most. So it was a bit more of an uptick. But in that time, he had 40 tackles, 2 sacks, 10 pressures. He looked a lot better once he kind of got that opportunity compared to the early part of the season. And that's kind of what I like about him. I like his ability to cover. I like his ability as a pass rusher. He could kind of do everything well, or at least, that's kind of what we saw more out of him this year as compared to some of the other rookie linebackers. So I like that long term for Isaiah Simmons. So that's why he's my 2020 rookie LB1.
Yeah,
Love it.
I totally agree with you. When you break down his numbers for what he did on his snaps, man, it's nuts. 54 tackles, 11 pressures, 2 sacks, 1 INT on only 376 snaps. What the hell?
Yeah. And it's not even to say you put those numbers in a full season's worth of snaps, that everything's going to, go to scale. But knowing that he has that playmaking ability in him, knowing that, if he gets a chance to be on the field, he's everywhere. He can kind of do everything as a linebacker / safety, Swiss Army knife kind of guy. So I really like that in a linebacker. And that's kind of what I would be looking for like, NFL teams in this modern day NFL, right, where the pass game is, more important. Guys that can kind of cover and do everything is key. So that's why I'm with you with Isaiah Simmons as number one.
Yeah, positionless football. Also, Patrick Queen, I know he graded really poorly, and this could be like this could veer us down a weird road, but Devin White also, I noticed, graded poorly for PFF.
Yeah, and for Devin White, it was mostly in coverage, where he just got killed, right? And it's funny because opposite him, Levante David was our number one linebacker in coverage. But yeah, you kind of see it like when you get to watch Devin White, he's almost like, especially kind of playing zone defense, he's just a little bit behind the play, which is interesting because coming out like at LSU, he was known to be like a good cover linebacker, and I think like he still has that ability in him. But if I pull up the numbers here, so he allowed, including the playoffs, an 84.6% reception rate, which was 104 receptions on 123 yards, 123 targets, 928 total yards. He gave up 4 touchdowns and a 102.2 passer rating when targeted, right? So, it doesn't matter for IDP purposes necessarily because he's going to get tackles. It's going to be involved in the play, but that's kind of where he got hurt for his PFF grade, was mostly in coverage. And, being out of his gaps too, his run defense grade wasn't great either. 19 missed tackles on the year, which, okay, not great, but it's not the worst. So there's some issues for him to clean up, but he's an explosive linebacker. He'll make plays. He'll bounce back.
Yeah, still just 22, 23, right? So
yeah,
that PFF grade will go up.
He's got some learning to do. That's a good point here. Obviously, we know Devin White finished as LB2 in our XFFL league. I'm sure for most leagues, he was either linebacker 1 or linebacker 2. And I wanted to bring up, too, Patrick Queen, obviously the 27th graded even rookie linebacker, you said, John, finished as the LB16. So this is kind of the discussion that we were having of, like, you want to pay attention to these grades because it is a sign that players could be replaced. So you have to look at that for the dynasty value, but it's not always a one-to-one kind of comparison of good PFF grade, great IDP player. We saw that with Khalil Mack, and now we're seeing the reverse of it with Devin White and Patrick Queen not grading well, but being IDP studs.
Yeah, it's interesting, right? So again, and this is a case even sometimes for like the offensive side of the ball. You don't necessarily have to be a great player, but the volume is the most important thing. And Devin White and Patrick Queen were on the field a ton, so they had the opportunity to put up those fantasy points. But when they were on the field, it was from an NFL perspective or PFF perspective. It wasn't the best play at their position. So. And again, you can take it as kind of a red flag. I think, especially with these guys being rookies, or at least Devin White's still on his rookie deal, like they have that leeway. And I don't think Devin White's going anywhere. He's going to be a linebacker in the league for a long time. But I mean, first round picks aren't, above being replaced, right? We've seen it happen. And, not to say that it will happen with Patrick Queen, but there's always that possibility to kind of be aware of. So, but yeah, we're giving them a ton of leeway with this season, this rookie season for these guys.
Yeah, that's another good point. I mean, these guys were highly drafted, for both first round picks. Devin White was highly, I think top 10 pick, right?
10, yeah.
So that's going to give them some leeway. I mean, you got to figure that they're going to, as long as they're not grading poorly come year 4, year 5, they're going to stick around for a while.
That's right. So to get things moving here in the second round, I'll give you both my picks back to back. I'm going double wide receivers. Denzel Mims from the New York Jets and Henry Ruggs from the Las Vegas Raiders. Put it on the board, Johnny. Love Denzel Mims. I think he is due a quarterback upgrade, whether it is Deshaun Watson, whether it is maybe one of these guys in the draft, a Justin Fields or a Zach Wilson. I don't think it'll be Darnold. I think too many teams are inquiring about Darnold for him to be under center for the Jets week 1. But I think the same could be said for Derek Carr in Los Angeles as well. I think both these guys could be looking at quarterback upgrades. We just saw the news that Tyrell Williams is getting cut. Not that he was a factor in 2020, but he could have been a factor in 2021. Now he's out of the picture. I'm not too worried about Bryan Edwards siphoning away targets. Nelson Aguilar, the team's leading receiver, is a free agent. So all that to say, I think Henry Ruggs, with the potential quarterback upgrade, could be looking at the wide receiver 1 role for the Las Vegas Raiders. So I love both these guys, and I'm very excited about their long-term prospects in the league.
Yeah, that's a good call. And I think that's the right kind of spot to get both of them is the mid to late second round. Even if, Ruggs, he was obviously the first wide receiver taken in the NFL draft last year, but I think that was even, a reach at the time for the Raiders, especially given that he's like more of a deep threat kind of wide receiver, and Derek Carr was known for kind of dumping off and short passes. But that changed this year, except he didn't throw to Ruggs. He threw to Nelson Aguilar and made him the deep threat. But yeah, Aguilar's gone. So I like Ruggs long term. The quarterback situation for both teams will be the most interesting thing for sure.
And now you've got Jalen Reagor sitting here just waving his arms like, guys, I am still here. It's like when he's burying the brother and Step Brothers. He's like, but I'm not dead. And he's just shoveling in the dirt. That's what we're doing to Jalen Reagor right now. John, I have to wonder if you're going to rectify this situation or not, but I feel like you probably aren't.
Yeah, no, I'm still pouring dirt on Jalen Reagor, letting him kind of get buried in the backyard there because I kind of like the value of a guy who was undrafted.
You're doing pretty good tonight, John.
Hey?
Did he just hit us with an A? That's the first A I think I've heard John say. That's so adorable. I think you did. Are you going James Robinson here?
I'm going James Robinson.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah. So again, I think he could be a replaceable guy in Jacksonville, but until I see that actually happen, Jacksonville could very easily draft a running back or bring somebody in, but I think he did enough for me so that the late second round is still pretty good value to get a guy who was second in rookie rushing yards. He had 7 touchdowns. Even if he was like a UDFA from like Illinois State, I think it was. I still like it there. So that's where I'm going. I'm going James Robinson. And maybe that's crazy over like an A.J. Dillon given the opportunity. But, man, I liked him. I think he showed enough that he could still play a role next year.
Yeah, I think Robinson has a more secured opportunity than A.J. Dillon in Green Bay, especially since we don't know what the Packers are going to do with Aaron Jones. So I like that pick a lot. Like Addy said, don't go trading like multiple first-round picks for James Robinson, but the dude's a good player, and Jacksonville's an ascending team, so getting him in the back of the second is mucho nice there, John.
Yeah.
All right, Connie Wanney's turn. Connie Wanney's got some sweat beating on the old brow right now.
I need to rectify what Johnny Mac just did. I can't leave Jalen out there just leafing the breeze. So I'm going to go ahead and take Jalen Reagor. This will be my second or third receiver, I think. So pretty offensive focus so far. But hey, you don't know what you're going to get obviously with him in Philly, whether of just down to who's going to be the quarterback, right? You got a new head coach, Indy's former O coordinator going over there. So be curious to see how they utilize him. Again, he finished the season. I pulled up his stats just to try to get an idea of how he finished 2020. It looks like he had 1 tutter, just under 400 yards, 31 receptions, averaged just under 13 yards, and a long of 55 yards. So yeah, nothing to write home about, but I think they're going to see a little bit of breath of fresh air there in Philly this year, just depending on which route they go with the quarterback. The more and more time goes by, I can see a world where they want to keep Wentz and just see what they have with this new head coach. Maybe I'm wrong, but either way, I like the potential for Rager. What say you, Johnny Mac?
Yeah, I like it too. I mean, he was hurt this year as well. He missed some time with injury. And yeah, Wentz was just not good. So yeah, if it's Jalen Hurts, I mean, even if it is Wentz, I don't know if he could play much worse than he did this year, but he still could not be great, which would make the situation not great for Rager. But I think if it's Hurts or whoever else at quarterback next year, that's good value too, right? Another first-round wide receiver late in the second round. I'd like it.
Yeah, Connor, there's a great game from the Around the NFL podcast that I love, which is what's more likely. So Carson Wentz ends up, or no, it's a would you rather. So Carson Wentz ends up on the Indianapolis Colts. Would you rather kill yourself by jumping into an active volcano or be thrown into a pit of very large snakes?
Oh, volcano.
Volcano. Yeah, that's the right choice.
I don't do snakes.
That's how you want to go. If it's just Carson Wentz in a Colts uniform and you're not feeling it, book a trip to Hawaii and just let's get this party started.
Yeah, I want to go in the big boy, like something that's active, because, John, we have like tiny like garter snakes. I mean, we do have like copperheads and stuff in certain parts of Kentucky that like they can kill you, but we don't have like tons of rattlers or anything. So most of the time, like when you see a snake, if you see one in your yard, it's nothing that's going to even want anything to do with you. But like, I guess it was my first year at my house about 2 or 3 years ago, saw a garter snake about this big. I think I screamed so loud, every person in the neighborhood heard it. It was almost like this just inner warrior scream. And I just picked up one of the boys' toys and just started just wailing on this little tiny snake. I mean, it just beat it into oblivion. So
what he meant to say there was he picked up one of his boys and started wailing on the snake with the child.
That's where I thought that was going.
What he meant to say was trouser snake, beating on it.
It was. We're talking wieners.
Talking wieners. Wouldn't be a Big 3 production unless some trouser snake talk snuck in there. So
do you remember what I said earlier, John, about only up from here? This is what I was referring to. This is, I know the route we would go down. So if
see
the
those
numbies
prints.
take a dip, yeah.
if you hear a scraping sound, that's the bottom of the barrel there. We're there, John. So let's see where Addie's gonna go here, because there's some interesting guys left on the board. There's one guy in particular I really want to get back to me. I don't think he is, but let's see if Addie snipes him here, and I have to come to his house and murder him after this.
Yeah, let's go ahead and get him out of the way. Jeremy Chin.
Okay, that was not the guy I was thinking of. So still alive.
That's who I would want it.
Addie's number 2 safety.
That's right, Jeremy Chin. What a monster debut from him. I don't know that it's going to be like that every year. He did have a few defensive touchdowns, 2 big plays that, I don't know that we can rely on, but I do think he's going to be at least a top 10 safety going forward. And he's in a great role. I mean, there's just not a lot of competition for tackles and stuff there outside of, Shaq Thompson. So love Jeremy Chin.
Addie, was there a more obvious call in all of IDP fantasy football than Jeremy Chin as a top 10 safety?
No, it was easy. It was
so
super easy. We
Look
had
at
him in
Eric
our
Reed.
redraft ranks.
Eric Reed was gone. Like, this was just like common sense.
Yeah.
John, hit us with that draft music again, man. I need my fix. Kicking off the 3rd round, Addie. Which way we going here, baby?
Man, this is tough. It's for me, it's between Kenneth Murray and AJ Dillon. I'm going to go AJ Dillon just because I think Aaron Jones is out of town, and AJ Dillon. I mean, he's got he's. I know the tape wasn't great in college. A lot of people didn't like his tape, but man, he ran a 4.3, I think, and he's like 230 or 40 pounds, big dude.
Yeah, got those big quads.
I was going to say, Addie's just a
Very
quad
thick
guy. He just has a poster of just the quads up on his bedroom wall, just off camera there.
Yeah, his thighs are absurd. But I mean, we know when he got an opportunity this year, that they actually gave him the full workload. He did great with it. So I imagine he's going to be, much more valuable in year 2 and have a shot to lead that team in carries.
Yeah. If AJ Dillon wanted to crush your head between his thighs, would you even be upset at him?
No. I'm ready to get out of here. That'd be a great way to go.
That'd be a great way to go. That's Adam's goal in life. AJ Dillon. I think Jamal Williams will still be in the mix there if Aaron Jones is gone. But I think their priority is going to be bringing in some wide receiver help. I don't think they're going to hit that running back position too hard in free agency or the draft. So I think AJ Dillon's role is pretty secure, especially if Aaron Jones is gone.
Yeah, I can't see them keeping Aaron Jones. I think he's going to want way too much money. And it just doesn't make sense. I mean, they drafted AJ Dillon the 2nd round last year. So
that's right.
Yeah. So I think they're just planning ahead and giving him the keys next year and letting Aaron Jones go get paid somewhere else.
Yeah, I mean AJ Dillon's on a great offense. He's gonna be the goal line back. So I mean he has 10 touchdown upside easy next year.
Big touchdown. That's the thing. You don't like banking on touchdowns with running backs, but man, on that offense with that quarterback, especially if they get a wide receiver upgrade at wide receiver 2 who can help move them down the field, you're looking at double-digit touchdown upside for Dillon with Aaron Jones out of the picture, which I think is the most likely outcome. So, All right, we got 7 picks left here, gentlemen, and Connie, it's time. It's Jacob Eason time. I can feel it in my bones.
Yeah, him or the guy that Colts rumored with for a while, Jordan Love, but he was instead sent to just tease Rodgers there in Green Bay and probably cost them a chance of making a serious run at the Super Bowl. But I digress. No, I'm thinking I'm going to end up going with Zach Moss here. I don't know what's going to happen in Buffalo. Is Singletary expected to be back, or what's the situation there?
He'll be back, yeah.
But he wasn't very good.
Yeah, he's kind of what he's kind of a plotter.
You seem like you've got some good value there with Moss. Of course, you've got a 12 gauge back there who can throw it a quarter mile. So, a run game is something I think Josh will continue to be able to lean on. So whether it is Singletary, Moss, a 1-2 punch, and just let the cream rise where it will, I feel like Moss has got some pretty good value on a team that the Bills are going to be around for a while, boys.
Yeah. I like Moss the best out of that backfield. I mean, I think he's, if you want to hit your wagon to someone, that would be the guy. I would do it too. So yeah, I like that call.
Addy, you're hitching your wagon to the AJ Dillon's quads.
He
could legitimately pull like a full blown like trailer that you would haul like a mower on. I believe that with every ounce of my being.
Yeah, I could see that as part of like his training hype video or something next off season. He's just got 2 tractors attached to each thigh, and he's just chugging along in the dirt, pulling them behind him.
I love it. That's he's got like a big chain wrapped around his neck or something. We need to be in charge of changing players' names and be in charge of their off-season workout videos. This is our corner, Addy. This is what we were born for.
Yes, sir. Let's get on it.
All right.
Yeah.
So Zach Moss off the board. John, if you take my boy here, I'm ending the stream as we speak. So please don't do that.
Well, I'm apologizing in advance because if your boy is Kenneth Murray.
Oh, so close.
Yeah. That's the worst, isn't it? It
is.
Like right before, but yeah. Kenneth Murray. Okay, so I might be higher than Kenneth Murray than most people. Like I have him ahead of Patrick Queen going into next year. I think he's actually a pretty good linebacker. Like, he led the Chargers in snaps. He was the only rookie defender to lead his team in defensive snaps all season. But do you know the last time a Chargers linebacker was even among the top 2 on the team in snaps?
Was it Junior Seau?
It's not a bad guess. But it was 2011. It was Takeo Spikes.
Oh, that was going to be my other guess.
Yeah. So Takeo Spikes was the last linebacker to lead, or at least be in the top two in the team in defensive snaps. So they trusted Kenneth Murray right out the gate. As a rookie, he got to play a ton. And he just, to me, he looked more comfortable, more consistent than any of the other rookie linebackers, like from week one all the way to close out the season. So I really like Kenneth Murray going forward. And you know what? He was drafted ahead of Patrick Queen as well in the NFL draft. So maybe that maybe plays a part in it as well, because I do think NFL teams know more than I do, surprisingly. But
Incorrect.
Yeah. So yeah, that's where I'm going. I'm going Kenneth Murray.
Great pick. That was my choice as well. I think he's a very good linebacker. I think he finally can break the curse of Chargers linebackers. I'm very hopeful for Kenneth Murray's future. Love that kid. But I'm going to go a little bit maybe off book here because I don't get any more picks. So I want to grab a signal caller, and I'm going to grab who I think will be the Eagles quarterback for 2021. I'm going Jalen Hurts at the 304, and then I'm going to go with the safety that Addy, sitting right here next to me, 2 days ago told me was going to be the safety one for 2021. I'm going Antoine Winfield Jr. at the 305. Lock it up, and let's ride off into the sunset on Devin White's horse.
All right. I like it. So, yeah, Antoine Winfield obviously was he made a big name for himself, obviously winning the Super Bowl as a rookie, right? Yeah, put up the peace sign right in Tyreek's face. You got to love that. But, yeah, he was the only defensive rookie to play over 1,000 snaps as well. But
was he really? I did not realize that. If you had put a gun to my head, I would have said Jeremy Chin. I would have said Kenneth Murray or Patrick Queen. I would not have gone with Antoine Winfield Jr. That is fascinating.
Yeah, Murray and Chin were close, I believe. But yeah, Chin missed a game or two, or a game and a bit, and then Murray had a couple games where he dipped a little bit lower in his snap counts. But yeah, Winfield. Basically right out the gate played most every snap for Tampa Bay. The only thing for me for Winfield is that he's mostly played as a deep safety, right? He mostly plays deep. The majority of his snaps are at free safety. So he's a lot more reliant on those kind of big plays that he obviously can make and that he did make, the interceptions, the sacks, things like that. And it is a good thing that he's able to rush the quarterback. It looks like they were able to get him in that position. He rushed like 50-something times this season. So that's my only hesitation with Winfield, is that, playing so deep, he might have some inconsistent weeks, but I still like it. I think 305. I mean, he's a big name. He's going to be another one of those guys that's playing for a long time.
Yeah, my thing with Winfield is I really, really love him once Levante leaves town. I know that Levante is likely coming back next year, but when he's gone, it's going to be Winfield and Devin White for the foreseeable future. So, and also, even though he plays deep, he has a little bit of that Buda Baker in him, I think, where, and once Levante moves on, I think they'll probably use him a little differently. Maybe use him in the box a little bit more, let him play slot corner some. I just think that moving forward, they will use him in more unique ways. I think he is a very special player, very thick too.
Yes, sir. Yeah, definitely. And I think that helps, right? Like, being as good as he is, you can kind of move him around. So, I think maybe next year, maybe they do experiment with him a little bit more. And I agree. I think Levante David's back as well, but we'll see how long that lasts. But Winfield, he's just a playmaker, right? You got to love those guys, as unstable as that can be from time to time. There's still, that part of it that, when they do make those plays, those are huge fancy plays and help your IDP team. So you got to love it.
I thought John's follow-up there was going to be definitely thick as hell. Love it. He's getting the gains in the weight room in the off season. Yeah. As we know, he's got the pedigree there with the dad playing in the NFL as well. Legendary player in his own right. So I'm excited to have him on the squad. I'm sorry, John, if that was your dude you were going to take. Let's just pretend it was, and I can feel some semblance of sweet revenge against you for taking Kenneth Murray from me.
Yeah, I mean, it was close. It was really close. I was going safety. It was between, honestly, it was between Tua Tagovailoa, who I still do like I mentioned before, but I took Joe Burrow. So I'm going Xavier McKinney.
Ooh, good choice. We talked about McKinney a lot on the pod on Tuesday and how he might be the giant safety that you want right now.
Yeah, he's kind of sneaky, right? He didn't play until like the last few weeks of the season. I mean, Jabril Peppers is there, but the thing with the Giants too, they typically play like a one linebacker scheme, right? So it gives more opportunity for a safety like McKinney, like Peppers to kind of come up in the box a little bit more. And then get a chance to make tackles that way, a little closer to the line of scrimmage. And, he's a versatile safety as well, so he could kind of get moved around a little bit and get a chance to make plays. And a little cheat code for Xavier McKinney for those on RSO, listed as a cornerback.
Is he really?
Yeah.
Oh.
That's not fair. That will not stay. We're going to reach out to RSO.
Yeah, we're going to send them a sternly worded letter right now, John.
I request that you don't, because he's on my roster.
All right, we won't. You win this time, Macri.
Hey, no promises here, John. That's a money league, John.
That's true.
Oh, all right. So 2 more picks here, gentlemen. Connor, what are you thinking? Take us inside that mind of yours.
I'm thinking, why isn't Julian Blackmon on here? I know he didn't get a ton of love. That's just my homer in me.
Connor.
Yeah, I don't think he got drafted, like, as far as the ADP goes. I didn't put him in the – oh, no, I did put him down at the bottom under the UDFAs. The other notables, he's down by the safeties. But, yeah, I guess with him being more of a free safety type, and again, like, he probably wasn't expected to start right away as a rookie, so he went undrafted in most IDP rookie drafts last year.
Right. I have a quarterback. This is going to seem a bit odd with Herbert, but I'm going to take another one with Tua. I want a second QB.
I thought you maybe were going Willie Hetero there.
No, I want to see what Tua has to offer. I think there were a ton of guys, and we've touched on this a ton on the Big Three, so I won't rehash it again. But you cannot overstate how much it meant, especially for rookie quarterbacks. That's the hardest position in all of sports. There is no, even on an IDP podcast, that's a really easy thing for all of us to acknowledge as football fans. So any rookie quarterback that had a chance to start and, somehow have a great year, I think there's going to be major improvements in year 2 and year 3 if you're able to have preseason, full-time with your guys. You've now seen a full year of NFL, and it was pretty much just 16 games of, just live action. So, again, I'm not out on Tua at all. I mean, I really think he could do something in Miami. And if they're silly enough that they want to, go ahead and get rid of him early enough, I could see somebody like the Patriots or somebody scooping in and taking him if they wanted to trade him and part ways and draft somebody. But we'll be curious to see what they do. I think Tua is going to be in Miami, though. And
he's going to be there, and they're going to get rid of Ryan Fitzpatrick, because Fitzpatrick is actually a free agent. John PFF has Fitzpatrick as one of the highest graded free agents, highest ranked free agents this offseason. So I think that as opposed to going that direction, Con, I think they're going to lean into the Tua era and hand over the reins to him entirely.
I thought they should have done that anyway. I mean, you can't be – I thought New Orleans was even kind of this way too. You can't be 1 foot in, 1 foot out with the quarterback position.
Right.
It's rarely, does it seem like, in my opinion, that it's going to be something that gives both guys the momentum they need to actually get something going and make a difference. Like, I finally bought in with Indy even doing it with Jacoby and Rivers, and they mainly only did it on 3rd and short, 4th and short, anything in short. Taysom there in New Orleans. Again, the switching back and forth, I I think you're really limiting yourself in terms of how you draw your game plan up unless both quarterbacks are somehow exactly the same. And you kind of tip your hand if it's a specialty type thing, especially like with Indy. You know, how many times did Jacoby come on the field and he wasn't sneaking the ball specifically?
Right.
So I don't know. I'm not a fan of it. Go one way or the other, commit to it and see what you have.
I think they're going to do that, so I think that's a nice pick.
Yeah, I agree. And I think like with Tua, like, I mean, I get that they were in the playoff race, so they, wanted to try and ensure wins and stuff like that. But at the same time, don't you want to see if your rookie quarterback can handle some of that kind of adversity of being down in a game, maybe struggling a little bit, see if he can pull a comeback. And maybe they did give him that opportunity, but I think the leash was just too short. They pulled him too soon and didn't really give him that opportunity year one. So I'm still in on Tua as well. I want to see what he does next year.
You got to let him fail. You have to there's 32 of these guys in the world. Let them fail.
Yeah.
They're okay. They're not that fragile. All of us at our respective jobs are allowed to fail, and we're just fine. Usually you're a little better for it because, as we say in our job, if you pay attention. And if he pays by losing the game or costing them the playoffs, but they still think he's the guy, well, I can name a ton of successful quarterbacks that's the way they started, especially if they had to start and have no preseason and all the other stuff we've talked about. So, will he be the next Dan Marino there in Miami? I don't know. I'd be curious to see, but I think what you saw last year was the byproduct of a fickle quarterback decision and a short season that was just we won't ever have a season like that again.
Hey, we know we learn way more from failure than from success, brother.
That's right.
I thought you were going to say
no diamonds, brother.
I thought you were going to say we have a lot of tape on Tua now, so he's done, Addy.
It's true. We are going to be grinding into the tape to it, so you are going to need to step up.
Addy, you're going to have to step up here at this last pick. I have no idea which way you're going to go, but I'm excited and I'm aroused. So let's see how you bring it to a close here.
Yeah, a lot of options here. I think the guy that stands out. The guys that stand out the most, I guess, would be Van Jefferson. We get Stafford next year. I really like that. He's an older prospect anyway, so he's kind of more NFL ready. So I think it's between him, Willie Hetero, and Brian Edwards.
I'm going Van Jefferson. That's the guy I had my eye on there, personally. With the Stafford upgrade, that's mucho nice.
I'm also going Van Jefferson.
Ooh, good pick. Sneaky old as hell, but we kind of like that in this situation.
Yeah, it's fine. He's ready. They need him. I mean, he's going to be their number 3 receiver there. I think Josh Reynolds might move on. But, Robert Woods isn't getting any younger. Cooper Kupp also is, I think, approaching like age 26, 27. So, I mean, they need some new blood in there. I think Van Jefferson is going to be have a nice second year leap.
Adam, imagine if people in our day-to-day lives said, Adam, he's getting up there, 26, 27, just low-key, old as hell, maybe on the backside of his career.
Listen,
bro, that would have been like 7 years ago.
I mean, they're not wrong though. I mean, it does fall off. It falls off quick, folks. Like, I mean, we really do. Once we hit 30, holy shit, it's not the same.
Yeah,
it's not. Yeah. Things start hurting.
Get you a kid in there too. I mean, a lot of these players have kids. I mean, it's tough, folks.
As we know, John, Marcum got still one night and never woke up.
I thought the police had him.
Oh, that's what we thought. We were calling everyone. We were trying to check security systems to see if his house was on fire. No, he was just napping.
Called my wife. No, it was just ate a little bit, too much Chinese food and got a little still. So
got a little still. That's all it takes when you get into your 30s and you're legit old as hell. So, John, man, this was so much fun.
Yeah,
look at this list. This is a hell of a list of players.
It is, and you'll see, like, it's a lot of offensive guys, right? So we only had, 3 linebackers, 1 defensive end, 3 safeties?
That sounds right. Yeah.
Right? So again, it's kind of like the key to IDP drafts. You want to get that offense first, then you start picking away at the key IDPs. So some of the guys that kind of were left off of this draft, just because we tried to keep it a little bit shorter, because obviously we could go forever. But yeah, Willie Gay, I had him as my LB4. I think with, like somebody like Anthony Hitchens being the only starter there, under contract from last year into going into 2021, I think it's a good opportunity for Willie Gay. I liked what he showed. I like Jordan Brooks as well, the linebacker from Seattle. I think, again, another one with KJ Wright possibly entering free agency, or at least like his 11th season or whatever it is. I think Jordan Brooks was in a good spot to produce next year. Yetur Gross-Matos, kind of a low-key defensive end, but I have him as DE2 for this class. Kilvon Chason, another one, DE3 for me.
Yeah, two guys we talked about on Tuesday's episode. Great buy low candidates right now, as Addy pointed out.
For sure.
Really, this just, this speaks to how great this class is, that we're at 308 and there's still these guys, left on the board. So fantastic class. And IDP wise, it's really deep too. I'm excited about a lot of those guys that really didn't get a shot in year one. They'll definitely get one in year two. And I think Kitchens is a likely cut candidate.
Yeah, it could definitely happen. He's just not very good.
No.
And
they paid him a lot too.
Sorry?
They paid him a lot too.
Yeah.
He's got a big contract.
For sure.
Yeah, they may just cut all those Chiefs linebackers after that embarrassing Super Bowl performance. It's like Ben Neiman, go run into the oncoming traffic on the interstate.
Yeah.
Hitchens, you're gone. Damian Wilson, you're also getting tossed into the pit full of snakes.
You're still here.
You're still here. Why are you still here? You graduated like 4 years ago. Yeah, I think we got to get Willie Hetero injected into this linebacking core. It needs to happen, John. Use your connections with Collinsworth, and let's get the Chiefs linebacking core going in 2021.
I hope so. I like him a lot. I hope he gets a shot next year. Yeah. So, and then, Cameron Curl was another guy, I think, just as the last guy to kind of touch on, who had like a huge season. Pretty sure he finished as like a top 5 safety in most leagues. But with the return of Landon Collins is kind of the key why I think a lot of us kind of skipped over him. I think his role definitely changes next year, even if he does get on the field. I think it might be more in his more traditional role, which is like a slot cornerback, as opposed to the box safety that Landon Collins plays before he got hurt.
Yeah, reminds me a lot of the was it Devontae Kazi? Is that how you say his name? In Atlanta. Remember when he had seemed like when Keanu O'Neal got hurt, he had a really good year, and then the next year relegated to kind of a more limited role.
Yeah, exactly. I think we kind of get like attached to some of these guys sometimes, like because they did so well in fantasy, we assume that, their NFL values got to be the same. But I think, teams recognize what they have in Landon Collins. He's basically a linebacker playing safety. And you get somebody like a Cameron Curl where you're like, this guy's he's a little bit better in coverage. He can make plays there. We'll move him to the slot, keep Landon in the box and he's getting paid a ton of money to play, basically.
Addy, I want you to take a good long look at John right now. And on a scale of 1 to 10, I want you to tell me how disappointed he is in this debut episode and the performance by the Big Three. I'm gonna put it at like a 6.
No, he's upset. He's upset. He's gonna be deeming us like saying, "What the hell, guys?" We're looking at like a 2 or 3. 2 or 3. You guys talking about showing prints. Come on.
Showing prints.
Print check. Hey, let me ask this, and we all saw the memes. The memes have already ran their course quicker than the weekend memes at the halftime performance. But have any of you all ever been Tom Brady drunk at the parade?
Oh,
dude,
man.
How great was that?
That was amazing.
Of course. That's a golf weekend right there.
It's a boat parade in Tampa, and you just won the Super Bowl. Like, I'd kind of be pissed if Tom Brady wouldn't fall down drunk at like 2 p.m.
Yes. Just adds to his goatness, man.
Yeah. My last time was on a cruise ship, and I'm pretty sure I got drugged on the boat. And I woke up in my parents' room in their bathroom, fully dressed from the dinner from the night before. So I was in like a full button up and slacks and all that.
Hey, you've
and
been
dad
there,
were-
brother. Josh's
Yeah.
wedding, actually.
Yeah, Adam slept in his full wedding suit after my wedding.
Yeah,
That
I
was quite a
blacked out
night.
at that, too.
Adam did not remember that we gave a speech and thanked all of the groomsmen for
No idea.
participating in the wedding. Adam gave a speech at the end of the night, was constantly flicking off the DJ for some reason, but not in a mean way, just like a, hey, what's up, man kind of
Right.
way.
Yeah.
So, I think John's disappointment is now increased to a 7. John, take this plane into the landing strip before we completely get you canceled episode 1.
Yeah, I
Take
think
us home, Johnny.
that's probably the best spot to kind of end it, right? We've all been there. So, so again, thank you guys so much for coming on. As if anybody listening doesn't already know, but where and what would you guys like to promote? Where can we find you? And what is those Twitter handles?
So Adam has a new indie album dropping next week. It's called Visca Is My Son. It's going to be
It's
kind of like,
it's emo trap. It's emo trap.
it's emo trap. It's going to be excellent. You can pick it up on Dat Piff.
SoundCloud. It's on SoundCloud and
and
Piff.
Sound,
That's right.
yep, and SoundCloud. No, it's big3idp.com. That's our handle on Twitter as well, at big3idp. Go check out Addy's ranks. They're updated, 250, and he pulled out the IDP, so go check it out. It's hashtag always free, baby. And we got some new episodes coming at y'all next week. And Johnny Mac, like you said, we got you in the feed every 2 weeks. So keep it locked on the Big 3 IDP podcast, and we're going to keep you covered all off season.
Yes, sir. So with that, we are a wrap on episode 1. It's in the books, as they say. Onwards, upwards, all that jazz, whatever it is. But I have been your host, John Macri. You can find me on the Twitter at PFF_Macri and on PFF.com with a new IDP-related article basically every week. You can get yourself an PFF Edge or Elite subscription to get access to my work, as well as many others, great works on PFF.com. So I hope everyone and anyone listening enjoyed the show, because we will be back, like we mentioned, in a couple of weeks, and we're discussing the best IDP buy, sell, and hold candidates in the NFC with the great Mike Woolert of 4for4.com and the Mic'd Up podcast. So look out for that. And until next time, IDPs out.